Hi everyone, my name is Davika and I am your Taiki Tantrika. Hi everyone, I hope you are having an awesome week. So I've noticed with my other past few videos, I've been really kind of sticking to some relationship stuff and, just kind of covering some territory with that. And I suddenly realized that I have not done any videos basically on porn. So let's do it. So I'm going to start off with maybe a little bit of history about the internet, that is. So, the internet, in terms of high speed levels, didn't really start, I'd say, becoming available to people until like the mid to late 90s. I know here in Ontario, Rogers didn't start offering cable internet until 95. So I would say anybody from the age of like 30 and under now has officially been able to access internet and therefore even pornography readily. I would say for about, I guess, about 20 years. This has been important because only now we're starting to see studies and a lot of anecdotal, situations pop up about people who have grown up with full access to internet porn. And we're starting to see what this is doing to people who are actually accessing it from, their prepubescent or, pubescent teenage years. And the results really have been like catastrophic. Like, I'm not saying obviously everybody has had problems, like significant issues, but there is enough people right now to be concerned about this. My biggest concern is the fact that, as a teenager or somebody even in their preteens viewing this stuff, we're starting to see a lot of issues where heterosexual men are objectifying women based off of what they're seeing in like pornography, and also trying to use pornography as an educational tool on how to actually fuck. Anybody who has not had pornography available to them, who's gone through the rungs of life and, as a heterosexual male who's had sex with women, will know that this is a huge problem. Because who's actually had sex and connective sex can actually say that pornography is a really good educational tool for sex. I know I for sure can say that this is absolutely bad. Like, bad idea, horrible. I'm upset because there really isn't that much in the ways of teaching heterosexual men how to connect with women, especially in their teenage years. I mean, we're seeing a lot of stuff in movies and stuff, but I mean, just in general, I'd say overall media right now isn't really teaching a lot about connection, and this has become very startling and very disturbing for me. And also the fact that it's becoming so much easier to even, let's say, get a hold of harder stuff, more violent porn, that sort of thing. What starts happening is these tendencies will show up in a person's dating life and the way they view the people they're going out on dates with, to the point where we're seeing a whole slew of performance issues as well. And for a moment, I will welcome you to follow this example with me. So if you're an athlete or you've been a dancer, followed choreography, you'll know the way you learn how to do what you do is repetition. So let's say you're, learning, a certain move, you will learn this through repetition. And this is a causal effect sort of situation. You start anticipating, somebody throwing a punch at you, so you will block it. This is kind of what's happening with porn. What's happening is the window of opportunity to orgasm is becoming narrower and narrower, and before you know it, what's starting to happen is you're now timing yourself in a certain way on when to come. And the way you're coming by yourself to porn is very different than the way you would, let's say, when you're with somebody, or even the way you would, let's say, using your imagination or an image. So now, because of this, we are seeing a whole slew of different performance issues, a lot of like erectile dysfunction, coming early, not even being able to get aroused with a live person in front of you because the interaction, once again, is different. Your body memory has been trained to do something different. Now that you have a real person in front of you, being able to, I guess you could say, freestyle with somebody in bed or, wherever you decide to have sex is becoming an issue. So I've talked to a lot of men and have also seen and read about a lot of anecdotes of people who have been afraid of how porn has been affecting their game, their dating game, their sex, their sex game, if you will, whatever you want to call it. And generally, especially if you are afraid this might be you, this tidbit of advice became super amazing actually to me, because I've seen the results of this through talking to people, and I never thought it would be so monumental. Basically, upon talking to people who've had this problem, they have abstained from using pornography for masturbation for a month. They used their imagination, they used photos, mostly I think their imagination. What they found was this really changed things. They, stopped killing their penises, because what also starts happening is people start seeing scar tissue. Like, there's some people who get so addicted to porn that they literally start hurting themselves, and causing capillary issues and urethra issues and that sort of thing. They also had a desire to connect to women again. The other issue that they find happens with porn is that they no longer have, as you could say, the inclination or the thirst to want to connect, because they've gotten used to just being able to do this with a computer screen or their phone or wherever they decide to view porn from. So the desire to want to go out and date and take the chances to ask a gal out, comes back. The other thing too is, aside from being kinder to their anatomy and wanting to connect with women again, is that the performance issues start depleting, which is a huge part of this. Now, what to do about these image issues? Because you've got this issue where men, these men that are porn addicted are admitting that they're not having an easy time connecting with women on a social level. So if you've had this issue or addiction for a while, it starts depleting your ability to talk to women and having just the comfort of being able to sit there. The other problem is you start feeling shit about yourself. Like, I've talked to so many men who now feel like their penises are inadequate or that their bodies are inadequate because of what they're seeing on the screen. And one thing I have to say to you is that, once again, porn was not meant to mimic reality or to be an educational tool. Porn is called adult entertainment because it's merely entertainment. Nothing about any entertainment industry is meant to be really realistic. Let's be honest here. Reality TV is usually casted and scripted. With adult entertainment, they are casting people who make it easier to not only sell the pornography, but who also make it easier to, let's say, capture certain camera, angles. Like, somebody with a longer penis might make something look more impressive, like when you're doing a tight shot, for example, and that's just the way that goes. So it's not that it's necessarily more desirable. In actual fact, I've spoken to tons of women who, after a certain amount of length or girth, they're kind of like, oh, I've had it, I don't need any more than this. So what I'm basically saying is, everybody's going to fit differently, and don't worry about that. So it's all really about your technique and how you use your, anatomy versus the size of your penis. So chillax on that. Focus more on connecting with people and to actually talking to people, because that's going to make your sex better. Seriously, down the road, connecting with somebody will just be that much easier when you're actually in bed. Check out all my other videos about this stuff, especially my self-pleasure video, Self-Pleasure 101, because I do talk about, how important connecting with yourself is and how that comes into the rest of your, your sexual and dating experiences. The other thing I'd like to say too is, I in general, I'm not a really big advocate on mainstream porn. There's actually a lot of really great movements happening right now to actually create couple-friendly or female-friendly, as they also say, pornography, where they are actually more modeled around what actual sex looks like between couples, where there's interaction involved and more emotion. That's always been a huge issue for me. I've always found with porn, I can't get into it because I just don't believe it. I never feel like I can get too tied into these two people looking like they are really enjoying each other, because they always look like they're off doing their own thing. Like, they might be having sex, but I always feel like they're each more concerned about what their face is doing than actually checking to see if each other is enjoying it. So it just totally turns me off. I know there's so much more that could be said about this, but I thought that some facts need to be put out there, especially because I don't think a lot of people that are experiencing issues, especially like performance issues, are realizing that they're not the only ones, and that this could be a very significant cause for that, because we're seeing more and more younger men these days with a lot of performance issues, and I really think that this needs to be turned around really fast. So please feel free to comment in the comment section below, especially if you have any questions relating to this. I welcome you to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much everyone for watching this video. Until next week, thank you and take care.